Well, good evening and welcome to the Hamden Football Netball League Senior Footy Show. And I'll tell you what, have a look at this bloke. That's right, Hilly, he's gone. Absolutely possum. Alan Blackburn, Ice Kelson. We've pulled in the big guns tonight, of course. And I'm speaking of Ricky Henderson, who made his debut last week. And, well, we thought he'd done such a good job. Let's get him on the panel. Ricky, how are you, mate?
Very good, thank you. Thank you for having me. I first time last week and I enjoyed it so much I thought I'd have to come back and sit right next to you.
Mate, love it. And we're going to get to the game on the weekend. Of course, you played Koroyd a little bit later on. But just for people that don't know, Rick, you've really indulged in our local community. You're working at Emmanuel College, mate. What role are you doing up there?
I'm in a little bit of learning diversity, so mainly help out the Year 11 VCAL, try and get them employed around the Warrnambool community and stuff like that. So
awesome.
I'm really enjoying my time down there, and it's a great school to be a part of.
Yeah, wonderful school, and that VCAL program too, Ricky, just awesome. Because the academic school is not for everyone, if you know what I mean. And there's plenty of kids out there that want to get into trades and all that kind of stuff, and this is just a great pathway for them. So it's good to have people like you involved, mate.
No, you're spot on, yeah. Like I said, trying to get the kids involved in a bit of work around the community and stuff like that. And the community's great as well. They love to help these kids out. And we're starting to lose a couple here and there, getting out full-time apprentices. So that's kind of what we're after.
Absolutely, mate. And fair to say, the Emmanuel boys in the footy, have you been helping Christian McLaren and Benny Wooten out there a little bit?
Yeah, I have a little bit, as much as I can. Yeah, they're doing great. So I think they're off on Wednesday down to maybe Craigieburn or Ballarat just to play against St Patch. Will be a great test for them. Obviously, they've been a great footy school for a long time. So hopefully they bring home the chocolates. Now,
what about in the Hamden League? You've played at the elite level, mate, and you've played great football at that elite level. How have you seen the competition? And you'd see some players that are running around, you'd be going, hang on, this kid's probably got enough ability to get down there. And, do you communicate with some AFL? Have you still got some ins down there at AFL clubs?
No, I try not to. I try to leave that past me. So, but no, it's great seeing all the kids, run around down here and obviously having a great impact. We played against and had a couple play for us on the weekend. So to see these guys grow and play some great footy is good to watch.
One of those kids, mate, who I was really impressed with on the weekend was little Archie Stevens, obviously in the VFL system with the Carlton Football Club. But you can just see that coaching and that development and that extra fitness level, I think, when a player like that comes back to the competition.
Yeah, he's playing great footy and, he has probably for the last 2 years for us. So at half-time, I probably thought he was the best player on the ground. So Koroyd had to put a little bit of work into him, which stifled our ball movement a little bit. But yeah, he's going to be a great player for a long time to come. Unfortunately, I don't know how much longer South will have him for. Yeah. But hopefully he goes on to bigger and better things.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, Rick, our Hamden League Live match of the day this weekend is the Port Fairy Seagulls taking on the Camperdown Magpies. Now, we haven't seen the Seagulls in season 2022, so we've got to get over there. We love getting over to the Gardens Oval too. It's a magnificent ground. Great ground to call from, and hoping that it's going to be a cracking game of footy this weekend. And Charlie Lucas from the Camperdown Magpies has been kind enough to join us. Charlie, how are you, buddy?
Yeah, good, thanks, boys. How are you?
Mate, fantastic. And you boys coming off probably your win of the season, beating Portland last week. And I don't think anyone saw that coming, to be honest. And tell us about it, because it was just a hard-fought game by the sounds of things.
Yeah, absolutely, Matty. It was a ripping game. Took a bit of work. The boys probably the best four-quarter game we probably played for the year. And, yeah, it was bloody exciting. The crowd was up and about on a Saturday night, bloody freezing cold. But, no, it was good to have the crowd there get behind us. So, yeah.
And I suppose the back half of the year for you guys, finals out of the equation and stuff, Charlie. But, if you can kind of build on and really set a great foundation for next season and pull some recruits and all that kind of stuff, then you can really build.
Yeah, that's it. I think Nev's done a lot of hard work sort of this year, just getting boys games that probably previous years hadn't had games. So it's been good for them to get games in. So, yeah, hopefully next year we can sort of get around that top 5 mark and see how we go.
And Ricky, you've obviously come up against the Camperdown Magpies this year, mate. What was your kind of overview?
Yeah, I thought they were really good. I think we played them maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, and It got a bit wet in the second half, but it felt like they had a really good defensive structure, and we're trying to set up pretty well behind the ball and go from there. So they did that pretty well throughout the day. If they can keep doing that, hopefully they can get another win on the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. And Charlie, it'd be great to string a couple together, mate. I'm not too sure whether you've done that in season 2022. So that'd be obviously the main messaging coming from Neville Swain this weekend to the boys.
Yeah, definitely. That's what we sort of want. 2 wins in a row, we're really up and about. So, yeah, go from there.
And you have got some good young kids coming through, but I have to talk about the big man at full forward. He's just a great player that you can build a team around. He's been a revelation since he's come back into the Hampden Football Netball League. And I'm speaking about the big flash, Sammy Gordon, mate. He's a ripper, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a bloody superstar, Matty. Absolutely.
He creates just so much attention, doesn't he? He just kind of demands a footy, and the ball just seems to get to him. And he's so strong in the air, and he's a good finisher, and he's certainly he's a good bloke to have around the club by all accounts, mate.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong there. He's, like you say, he's a big focal point for us, and we always try and get to him. So, and we know if he's ball in his hands, he's going to do something special with it. So, always get it in his hands when we can.
Now, tell us about the hammer, mate. Hamish Sinnott last weekend. They tell me he absolutely turned it on. He was fantastic.
Yeah, definitely. His first half was unreal. Just his work rate and what he brings to the club is bloody really good. So that's why I guess he's probably playing that top sort of standard in the VFL when he got his chance last week. Yeah. And he brought that into us, and it's really what we needed. So, no, he's really good.
Have you come across Hamish Sinnott, Ricky? He's a young kid, obviously spent a fair bit of time at the Rebels. Top age with the Rebels this year, and I think he's involved at VFL level. He's a ripper.
Yeah, he is. We played him a couple of weeks ago, and obviously had to put a bit of time into him. So, they've got a few dangerous players, and if they can get a few more on the park, they'll go really well in the future, I think. So they've got a great setup there, a great community feel about Camperdown. So I'd love to sit up there a couple of times and have a few beers maybe and just watch a couple of games. So they've got a great
ground,
setup.
Isn't it? Yeah, it is. It's a real good country ground. I know my young fella, he always talks about Camperdown for some reason. It's got a good feel about it. Hey, Charlie, tell us about Cam Spence, mate, too. He's a beauty, has been for a long time. He's a real engine of that midfield, isn't he?
Yeah, he provides bloody spark every week for us. He's just got a bit of that polish, I guess. So he's another bloke you always want it in his hands, and when he gets it, he'll do the right thing with it, yeah, bloody oath, he's a gun.
How's the club going off the field in that, Charlie? Obviously been a struggle for the junior numbers and all that kind of stuff, but the 12s, the 14s and the 16s are certainly nice and solid. How's everything going off the field?
Yeah, not too bad. I think you like the Spook, and that have probably been the hardest year we've had over the previous years. So I think they've done a really good job. And yeah, Thursday night, we still have Thursday night teas and whatnot, obviously after training, so they're always good and gets people up, like you say, around the community, get up there and sort of support us. So, yeah, I can't knock it.
Just one question for you. How has it affected, your reserves and then seniors not having those 18s in place? Do you find it affects you going up the train a bit further?
Oh, absolutely. I think like Tuesday, Thursday nights, numbers-wise, some like probably early in the year, they're probably better now, but we probably struggled to get numbers to training. And then, it affects, obviously, just the way you want to play, I guess. You don't get the most out of your trainings, which we probably want to do, especially being a young group, so it's pretty tough.
And it's certainly a big issue, isn't it? Right across the board. And I suppose the alarm bells for me, Rick, really rang, about 5 or 6 weeks ago when Colac pulled out of the GFL at under 18s. Like that just never, I would never see that. It'd be like Warrnambool or South, not fielding an under 18 team in the Hampden League. I couldn't believe that. And I think it's just across the board in general, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It feels that way. And, a lot of teams are struggling for numbers. So even at South, which has obviously had a great junior program all the way through, we're struggling for numbers and reserves and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it is happening across the board. And, it's a little bit disappointing to see. So we need everyone out there coming to, even if it's just training, as you say, getting numbers on the track and stuff like that. So
that's it.
It's very important for the community and the footy clubs themselves.
Yeah, my oath. Well, I'll tell you what, Charlie, looking forward to calling you this weekend, mate. As I said, we've had you guys a couple of times, but we haven't had the Port Fairy Seagulls, so looking forward to seeing them and looking forward to getting over the Gardens Oval, mate. And who knows, the Magpies might be able to make it too on the trot.
Yeah, hopefully, mate. That's what we're obviously going there to do, so hopefully we get the job done.
Good stuff, mate. Great to talk to you, and we'll see you on the weekend.
Judy, thanks, boys. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely love it. And, he's a good player too, Charlie. Don't worry about that. He has a crack and he gets in there and certainly a very important player for the Canberra Magpies, that is for sure. Now, Ricky, you probably don't want to do this, mate, but let's have a look at the highlights from last weekend, of course, and our match of the day. It was for top spot, Koroit Saints taking on the Roosters. A healthy crowd out at Victoria Park in Koroit too. It was fantastic. Conditions weren't too bad, to be honest, Rick. There was a little bit of a breeze blowing down towards the Warrnambool end.
Yeah, and that was it really. The rain held off. There was a decent old wind, especially late in the game. But Koroit got the better of us and got the win at the end of the day. So,
geez, I like this kid, mate. Ollie Bridgewater. Tell us about him. He just seems to be improving each time we call him.
Yeah, he's playing really well. He's playing some great footy. So, he carries most of our ruck load and it does a great job. And you see him bobbing up there and kicking a goal as well. So I think if he can add that to his game a little bit more, he's going to be a great player for a long time to come for us.
And can I say, I thought your first half, you guys really looked good. You had four good midfielders out in Bex, Hussey, Liam Mule and Saunders.
Yep.
So, you had your engine room out, mate. So you were pretty depleted through there. But I'll tell you what, you had a crack.
Yeah, we did. I think that's going to happen. We have to have some young kids come in into the team as I go for a big hanger there and get nowhere off the ground. But, we have to have some younger kids come in the game. And obviously, without the experience and all that sort of stuff, they kind of fall off towards the end of the game. So that's bound to happen. Full credit to Koroit. They played a great brand of football, especially in that third quarter. I thought they played really well, shut the game down and, got it back on their terms.
Benny Rantel was fantastic, I thought, for you guys as well. A bit of a different role, went into the midfield too in that final term. Lamont Lawal, I thought was sensational, but Jack O'Sullivan, he was a difference in the end, wasn't he? He kicked 4 goals, played up forward, an unusual probably role for him at that senior level. He played a bit of juniors, obviously, up forward.
Yep.
He's a big boy, isn't he, Ricky?
Yeah, he's massive. For a younger guy, he's actually pretty intimidating. So it's good to see him running around when he's got a full head of steam. He's got some pretty good hands as well. So, he was probably one of the players that really got on top of us, especially down back. But as you said, Benny Rantel was amazing for us and has been for most of the year. So he's a guy that I love playing with.
Mate, I just want to ask you about a couple of young kids too. Jed Henderson's one. I reckon another kid that's improved. I put him in the same bracket as Ollie Bridgewater.
Yep.
Seems to be improving each week. Lamont Lawal, I just touched on. I thought I was impressed with him. I thought he'd give you a fair bit of run and carry.
Yep.
Played on the tagging role on Alex Pulling. Herman.
Yep.
I thought he'd done a really good job, mate. Alex Pulling's been probably one of the players of the competition all year, and he really curtailed his influence on the game. And obviously, there was a fair bit of work he'd gone into to Chumpy.
Yeah, obviously he's a player that we kind of had to go after a little bit. So we had that tag probably from earlier in the week. I think we did it earlier in the year as well. So he's a player that we'd like to stop. But Hendo, he likes to say he's my brother, but he's definitely not. He's playing some great footy as well. So he's sitting out in the wing. Done a fair bit of work with him in his wing role and all that sort of stuff. So he's playing some great footy. Yeah,
absolutely. And your back six is very settled, I reckon. They do a good job. And Williamson, his role on Sammy Dobson was one of the best I've seen play Sammy, to be honest. He's the hardest player in the competition to play on. And normally probably clunk 7 or 8 of those marks that Williamson got his fist on. So he's a great find, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's been amazing for us. So, he did a great job on the weekend, but he's done that week in, week out throughout the whole year. So, and he's another guy that you just love playing with. His magnets up on the board. You know what you're going to get from him. So, he's been a great find for us, and hopefully he stays around for a lot longer to come.
And on the flip side, Taylor McHenry for the Koroit Saints, I thought had a really good first half. He went on to Archie Stevens in a little bit of a negating role in the second half and did a pretty good job. Archie still had a really good influence on the game. Liam Hoy in the middle, of course, he's a bull, isn't he? He's just a hard player to match up on, and he just plays that nice physical brand of footy. And as I said, the O'Sullivan boys, have you seen Finn much? That was the first time I'd seen Finn, and I know he didn't get a lot of it on the weekend, but when he did, he's one of those kids he's got time, he gets across the ground well. I think he's got a bright future, hasn't he, Ricky?
Yeah, you could see it. I'd heard a lot about him, obviously being in the manual as well, and he'd been there previously, so I'd heard a lot about him, and yeah, he didn't have a huge impact on the game, but when he got the ball, you could tell that something was going to happen and something special was going to happen. So hopefully he's got a bright future ahead, and yeah, hopefully he goes a lot further than the Handon League.
And Dylan McCutcheon, he's got the dreadlocks, of course, and he's as hard as a cat's head. He's just an absolute beast of a bloke, and he was fantastic. He got our 3 votes. He got the Pit Stop Menswear 3 votes on the weekend. The Matthews Petroleum MVP, of course, Player of the Day as well. So well done to Dylan. Jack O'Sullivan, he got the Lucas Brothers snag of the day. That snap, of course, in the 3rd term was just absolutely sensational. He played a wonderful game right throughout the day. So all in all, I think, I don't know, what was the message from batters after the game, Ricky? Because I reckon you'll take a fair bit out of it, knowing that you had some quality players out. And Will White's another one to come into that team as well.
Yeah, we've got a few to come back, but obviously, we still want to go out there and get the win. We can't say, we've got people out and all that sort of stuff. We have to give credit to Croydon. They played a great brand of football, like I said, especially in that 3rd quarter. So they deserve to have the win. Like you said, we'll take a lot out of it as well. So going forward, we'll learn a little bit, and hopefully we'll meet them at some stage later in the year.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting now because Portland losing to Camperdown has really opened the door up for the North Warrnambool Eagles to get in that top 3 now. And you probably think they're the 3 better sides, South, North and obviously Koroit. Portland on their day, I think, could take it up if they've got a full list and a full squad. They might just be punching a little bit late in the season.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens. But Portland, obviously North, we struggled against North out there earlier in the year as well. So whoever's there, in the final 5, I think has got a decent shot at winning it. Even Warrnambool, if they get in there at 5th, we struggled against them earlier in the year as well. So anyone can win it on any day. So I'm looking forward to the final series.
Yeah, it's going to be sensational. You can just smell it, can't you? The weather's getting a little bit better. It was cold, of course, this morning, but the day was beautiful. It's just that September's just around the corner and the weather starts picking up, that is for sure. Now, our Southwest Tool of the Week. This was from a couple of weeks ago, actually. I couldn't let this go. Travis Graham, we know he's a fashionista, but the pink socks, there might have been a reason, I'm not too sure, but Travis, I don't know, mate. Like, you can wear them, but don't tuck the jeans in with them, possibly. That was kind of a look in the early 90s, late 80s. Maybe it's coming back. Ricky, did you ever put the old socks in the old Adidas 3-stripe trackies, mate?
Only when I was riding a bike. But, so he might have ridden to the game, you never know. But, like you said, I'm hoping there was a reason, maybe a charity or something like that behind it. But if not, then, that's probably a no for me.
Well, he gets a $50 voucher, all thanks to Southwest Tools. So we must thank Paddy Lane and the crew out there for everything they do too. So he is our Tool of the Week, Travis Graham. So make sure you let him know about it. And I reckon he'll be happy because he does like the tools, Travis. So he'll be able to go and spend the $50 voucher wisely, that is for sure. Mike Brady, mate, got the best ever football songs ever, Ricky.
Yep.
Of course, he's an absolute champion, and he's just released a new song called Engine Room.
Yep.
We're going to play it now, and I'm going to talk about it more at the end of it. It only goes for a couple of minutes, and I reckon a bit of this footage, it looks like Eddie Betts did a bit of this footage, so it must have been when Dartmoor played a couple of weeks ago, and I reckon he's even at the Lawn Footy Ground just having a look at it as well. So let's have a look at Mike Brady's new song, Engine Room.
It's the game we've played round here since Adam was a lad. We've seen the champions come and go, we've known the good and bad. We remember those who went to town to mix it with the best. But we love the ones who stayed behind, stand out from the rest. That's what country footy means to all of us that know. It's a big part of our lives, the weekly ebb and flow. And there's nothing like a local game to let your spirits flow. We're the engine room of Aussie rules, is the reason that we go. We still play on Saturday, may it always be the same. And it's what it's all about, it's why we play the game. The town turns out to take it in the sunshine or the cold. The teams run out, the siren sounds, and it's on for young and old. That's what country footy means, it's grassroots through and through. No airs or graces, no matter what you do. We play the game, we share the pain until the flag is won. We're the lifeblood of Aussie rules, and we're here for everyone. That's what country footy means to all of us that know. It's a big part of our lives, the weekly ebb and flow. And there's nothing like a local game to let your spirit flow. We're the engine room of Aussie rules, it's the reason that we go. We're the engine room of Aussie rules, it's the reason that we go. Country footy.
Oh, there you go. That is absolutely magnificent. So a new song. So what they're doing, you go to 3ybfm.com.au, so 3ybfm.com.au, and you register your club. And if you win, Mike Brady will come out and perform at a function for your footy club. So how good would that be over the Roosters, mate?
Yeah, I might nominate ourselves, so we'll see how we go with it.
I love it. Absolutely love it. So cracking song. Eddie Betts, Sean Burgoyne in there. Daisy Thomas too, by the looks of it. So
Alex Rance, yeah.
Alex Rance. A couple of blokes you would have played against over the journey, mate.
Yeah, they had better careers than I did, though.
I don't know, mate. I reckon your career was pretty good. Hey, listen, fantastic show. It's going to be a big weekend of football too. And I'll just run through, actually. I'll get your thoughts, Ricky, on these games. You're playing the Warrnambool Blues up at the Friendly Societies Park on Saturday. It is round 14 action. They took it up to you last time, the Blue Bags. They're just not going as well at the moment, Rick.
Yeah, I think they might have had a couple of injuries, which might have set them back a little bit. So, like I said earlier, they really took it up to us last time. So, yeah, we'll have to give it our best shot this week and hopefully get the win.
Cobden are taking on Koroit, mate. They're going along beautifully well at the moment, the Saints. Hard to see the Bombers getting an upset here.
Yeah, we can't go past Koroit on that one, I don't think. So they're playing some great footy, and they would beat most teams going around at the minute. What
about the match of the day, mate? Port v the Camden Magpies. It'd be a great fairy tale to see the Seagulls get their first win of season 2022. Can they get the job done? No Kane Murkovic, I don't think, Ricky, which is a big loss.
Yeah, he's a great player. I would love to see him win. I just don't know if they will.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd love to see it.
I know, it's going to be a big day, that is for sure. Terrain Mortlake taking on the Hamilton Kangaroos. This game was close first time they met earlier on in the season. And they were good, the Bloods, last week against the Blues.
Yeah, two good teams going up against it. So I like Hamilton if they can get everyone on the park. So
yep.
Yeah, I think they're a decent team.
Yeah, absolutely. I do too. I reckon they're building, doing a good job up there. North Warrnambool Eagles taking on the Portland Tigers. This is going to be a beauty. Portland rolled them on their home deck first time round. They're going to have to do it again because if North Warrnambool win this, you would think the top three might nearly go their way.
Yeah, it's actually a big game, so it'll be interesting to see who gets up on that one. I'll call a draw, and we'll see what happens.
You're sitting on the fence, mate.
Yeah, I am.
You're not giving any ammunition come finals time
not
whatsoever. They'll be saying, you picked against us. I love it, absolutely love it. Can I just give another shout out too to a North Warrnambool supporter who's an absolute legend. I have to share this story, and he's going to be our tool of the week for next week. And this is how funny things can happen. I was delivering pizzas on Sunday night, Ricky, and I deliver out usually on most Sunday nights out to the Keys family out at Bushfield and Barry's Road out there, and Johnny and Harry and Tommy and Claire and all the crew and that. And anyway, I walked in with the pizzas and pasta and garlic bread and all that kind of stuff, and they looked at me funny and they said, Matty, we've already got our pizzas. And I said, what do you mean? And they pointed at the kitchen table and they're eating the garlic bread and there's a big oblong box, a white box, no branding or anything on it. And Johnny said he'd been over at the neighbours having a couple of beers and he knew they were having pizza for tea, and a car pulled up out the front fence and said, oh, do you order pizza, mate? And he goes, yeah. And she goes, here you go, here's your pizza. He's walked in with the neighbour's pizza.
That's a good way to do it, to save a bit of money anyway.
True, so he had two pizzas. He had a big foot long, which was just huge. And then he had a couple of families and some pastas and stuff. So unbelievable. You would not read about it, that timing could happen.
No, not at all. But tool of the week next week as well. So
yeah.
Got himself another $50 voucher.
$50, mate. And Keist, you'll like it too, of course. Keist Excavations, mate. He's an ex-Rooster too, Johnny. Great fella. He was as tough as nails back in the day. But I had to share that story. Absolutely brilliant. And he didn't bat an eyelid, the big fella. I think he was about 24 cans in, though. Make no mistake about it. Hey, Ricky, have you enjoyed it, mate?
I have actually, yeah. It's been a lot of fun, so thank you very much for having me.
Nah, good stuff, mate. I think we might have to make it a regular. We might get you on the panel and put a bit of sense onto the panel, that is for sure. We must thank our sponsors too, of course. Lindock Living. We're getting out there for the Pie Night too soon with Mickey McGuan. It's going to be absolutely magnificent. We might get you along to that too, Ricky. Sun Gold Milk, of course. We love Billy Slater and the crew, what they do. 3YB, Coast FM, absolutely sensational. Power Core, they are brilliant, mate. They just absolutely love it. McDonald's, Anthony Nigro and the crew have been just enormous as well. So we can't thank our sponsors enough that get involved. And make sure you go and support the sponsors as well. Big Tooter behind Ricky Henderson, of course, Toot Toot Traffic and all your vegetation needs. Absolutely magnificent. Fresher fruit juices. Warrnambool Toyota. Now, Ricky, the $5,000 kick, it is back in 2022. All thanks to that unbreakable Hilux. Matty Burgess and the crew. We'll have Burjo on next week too to talk about the $5,000 kick. That is going to be sensational. Have you seen that before?
No, I haven't, but my ears are pricked up.
Mate, $5,000. We draw out 10 people. We park the ute on grand final day at half time, and if you kick into the back of the ute, $5,000 cash.
Beautiful.
Cold hard into the unbreakable Hilux. It is sensational, but we thank all our sponsors. Frolic Bar, of course, too. Big Moose and the crew down there doing a magnificent job. QR3 with all your footy tops and jerseys and all that kind of stuff. They're absolutely magnificent. They are, QX3 it is actually, they are doing sensational things too. Dean Herford and the crew down there. So make sure you get in and support them as well. It is just magnificent. Ricky, thank you for joining us, mate. Good luck on the weekend taking on the Blue Baggers.
Thank you.
Good luck with the Emmanuel boys next Wednesday too in the school footy. It is going to be sensational. We'll see you at the footy and the netball this weekend.